ask, besides anxiety, I've got an issue currently with copronymphagia. Yeah, it's a really bad case.
Okay. So tell me what you mean by a really bad case.
Well, I know it started about 6 months ago, and I was taking care of the dog. And I mentioned it to the owners, you know, what I had seen. And they're in a house, 3-story house, where they let the dog off the deck, go down a flight of stairs, go down a flight of stairs, and then the yard. And so they're not really constantly watching this dog. And they brought him back a couple weeks ago, just to board him. And here's Louie, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, they haven't really done anything at all. Well, I explained to them, gave them, you know, my take on it, what they can try and do. But then she called me just the other day and said, this is out of control, what would you suggest? But it's just every time the dog defecates, I mean, that dog just turns and the feces is gone.
And it's really, it's a problem of management. I mean, it needs to be, you know, holding the dog on the
right.
And, you know.
Right, and I mean, I've explained that to them.
So,
is there any sort of, I guess, the food that's worked better? I mean, I've read high protein, high fat, low carbs.
I haven't found anything consistent. And we've also got, you know, food additive things that you can add that the last clinic I worked at, we had it on the shelf to sell to people, and I just never really used it. I mean, I used it enough that I knew it didn't work, but it doesn't really work. And you know, it doesn't help if part of the problem is eating other dogs' stool too.
Yeah, I haven't seen him do that. It's his own.
Yeah.
It's his own. I mean,
so
it's just
and if you can just get them to that point where, you know, that extinction phase takes place in his training process, then, but it's just
they're at a point where they want to surrender him.
Wow.
And for that, yeah.
Wow.
They just,
yeah.
well, he does, and he comes inside, and then he vomits. You know, so it's that. And
Well, I mean, if I would say maybe,
I didn't know if there was a.
I think that would be a motivator for them.
I mean, if the vomiting is part of the issue, I really like Cerenia for vomiting. Cerenia, I can spell it for you if you want. It's C-E-R-E-N-I-A, Cerenia. And that's an anti-nausea medication, and I actually even prescribe it in cases where there's not really nausea, but
Yeah, but don't you want that to come back up?
I have a stool eater at home, and he doesn't throw it up, but I'm too lazy to really work on training him. So, you know, the eating of the stool itself is not harmful. It's just really gross.
So you've never found any additives that work?
But I haven't found anything that really stopped it. Anything that's reliable, any diet that would resolve it. I mean, on the one hand, a high fiber diet, maybe the stools wouldn't taste as good, but there's a lot more of them.
Right. That's what they're saying.
I don't know.
Good point.
And that's so awful too, where they put that pressure on you that, like, you know, we're gonna get rid of him if we can't get this to stop. But that's why the problem is them throwing up a pile of poo inside the house. They're beautiful, you know, 3-story home. Then Cerenia, which is a pill that they take once a day or every other day, kind of whatever lowest frequency helps control any throwing up. And I mean, dogs don't throw up on Cerenia. If they do, like, something's not right. And so I love Cerenia. And again, it's very safe, and it's actually been shown to be like a good pain medication and have other benefits too. So I love Cerenia.
Is that the same drug that they use for car sickness?
For what?
For car sickness?
Yes. Yes, for car sickness. And that's kind of how they market it, is like motion sickness in dogs. Cerenia, C-E-R-E